Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Clarissa Bayat, Union Pacific's Chief Communications Officer. Union Pacific has been an innovator for more than 160 years, and we continue to evolve, finding new ways to improve how we do business with you. As consumers ourselves, we have access to real-time information to know exactly when our packages are arriving, whether that's food that we've ordered, merchandise we purchased, or even a service call. We're using that same mindset here at Union Pacific. And based on your feedback from previous webinars, today we'll show you how investments in technology, safety, and security are better serving you. We have some great speakers lined up to share more. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Next slide. Joining me today are Kenny Rocker, our Executive Vice President of Marketing and Sales, and Kenny will highlight how we're using technology to enhance your experience. We have Rushi Patel, who's the Assistant Vice President of Enterprise and Customer Technology, and Rushi's going to talk to you about some enhancements to our website and customer portal that are designed to better serve you online. We also have Pat Linden, our AVP of Marketing and Sales, and Pat is on our Intermodal team and will focus on how we focus on drivers that help you quickly get in and off of our ramps so that we can efficiently deliver your shipments. We also have Eric Geringer, our Executive Vice President of Operations, and Eric is going to talk about how Union Pacific is leveraging technology and AI to enhance safety, service, and operational excellence, along with a $40 million investment in safety and security upgrades. We also have Aaron Parsons, who's one of our special agents and police investigators that we have here at UP, and he's going to show you what our special agents are up to as we make sure that we are protecting your shipments. Before we jump in, I do have some housekeepers. This legal disclaimer, in a nutshell, this slide underscores that we won't be talking about pricing, contracts, or anything that may fall in the antitrust category. Next, we're not just here to educate you about UP, we're here to answer questions you have to better inform you. So we encourage you to ask questions at any time. You can use the chat feature here on Teams, and all comments are going to be anonymous. We'll see them and we'll respond. We've saved time at the end to make sure we have time to answer questions following the presentation, but you can be sending them in throughout as they occur to you. And finally, this session is being recorded. So if you're uncomfortable with this, you're welcome to log off and watch the replay later. Now, I want to practice a poll. So we want to know who we're talking to. So a couple times throughout this webinar, we'll be doing some polling. And I'd like to take a moment now to learn more about those of you who joined us today. So please take the poll on your screen and let us know a bit more about you. Are you a current customer? Are you interested in shipping by rail? A public agency or road authority representative, a community member, a Union Pacific employee, or a member of the media? We'll take a moment to see who we have as you react to the poll. All right. We have about 68% of you are current customers. Thank you. And hopefully you'll feel even more excited about being our customer as we go on throughout this webinar. We have 1% of you who are potential customers. We have about 20% of our employees. We have some partners. 10% of you are partners in the industry. We have 3% of you are community members. And we also have one reporter online. So thank you all for joining us. Now that we've taken the poll, let me tell you a little bit about the Union Pacific strategy, which is safety, service, and operational excellence. All of those things together will help lead to growth. Our strategy is focused on being the best at safety. You may not know this, but a Union Pacific train can travel around the earth nearly 49 times before derailment. And to put that in another way, rail is 17 times safer than trucks per gross ton miles. Another thing that's a big key part of our strategy, and many of you hopefully are experiencing this, is that we're focused on delivering the service we sold our customers. If we promise this is what you're going to get and how you're going to get it, we do our best to make sure you do, and we measure ourselves against that. From an asset utilization perspective, we want to make sure that those closest to the work are driving decisions about how the work is done. from a cost control perspective, we invest about $10 million a day in infrastructure, technology, and network expansion. And we're always focused on using those costs, using our money wisely. And certainly not, last but certainly not least, is people. We offer some of the best paying industrial jobs in America, including free college tuition for every employee, as well as stock ownership opportunities for all our employees. This video will tell you a little more about our strategy, and immediately following it, you'll hear from Kenny Rocker. Video. At Union Pacific, we don't wait for the future. We build it. We move forward with purpose, turning obstacles into opportunity and ambition into action. Our core foundation, safety, service, and operational excellence, is driving a culture that acknowledges our heritage and the feats of yesterday while pursuing the possibility of tomorrow. It means meeting every challenge head-on, adapting when the job demands it, and finding a way forward no matter the conditions. We connect our nation. We unleash economic innovation, and we never stop in our pursuit of what's possible. Safety, it's our first promise. It means being the best at protecting each other, safeguarding our customers' freight, and ensuring the well-being of the communities we serve. It's why we invest nearly $10 million a day in our infrastructure, deploying cutting-edge technology like wayside detectors and autonomous track inspections to keep our network secure. Service. It's about delivering on our commitments. When we tell a customer their freight will move, we make it happen, efficiently, reliably, and on time. Our Service Performance Index keeps us accountable, measuring what matters most, delivering the service we promised. From expanding intermodal reach to integrating automation into our terminals, we are constantly finding new ways to serve. Asset utilization. It means putting the right resources in the right places at the right times and trusting those closest to the work. When we optimize our network, we make every move count. As the first Class 1 railroad to modernize all three big core operating platforms, we're getting more out of every mile, car, and locomotive. Cost control. It's about making every dollar count. We spend wisely, invest with purpose, and create a buffer for the unexpected. From fuel-saving hybrid battery electric locomotives to productivity initiatives tackling everything from fuel to benefits, we are focused on efficiency. We don't just move freight. We move it smarter, safer, and more cost-effectively. People, our greatest advantage. We build each other up, engage teams, and listen to our stakeholders. We recognize those who've given decades to our company, those writing the next chapter, and those who make Union Pacific more than a railroad. We are heritage and history, legends and legacy, committed to something greater than ourselves. We make the tough calls, put in the work, and refuse to stand still. The next mile, the next challenge, the next opportunity, it's ours to take. Progress isn't promised, it's built by those willing to pursue everything possible.
So thanks, Clarissa, for setting us up. I really appreciated that, that sample survey that you sent out. So I feel at home now, knowing nearly 70% of the participants are customers. This is just great, which I want to start off by saying that the content, the commercial content that you see up on the screen comes from feedback that we receive from customers, whether it's our Net Promoter Score surveys you fill out, whether you're on the Customer Advisory Board, or whether it's a survey from our Customer Care and Support Center. So we listen to you, and you're going to hear some of that feedback demonstrated in the next couple slides. What we've heard are three major themes. Visibility, you want to make sure you have great visibility. Two is that you want to get updates. And the third thing is that those updates are proactive. So I want to start off by just talking about a few of those things. If you look at the slide, the first few bullets, the first three bullets at least, are really around planning. And the first thing we want to tackle is if you are a customer that wants to expand on our network, or put a new facility on our network or grow within your own plant, that there's a faster onboarding process. And we really worked on that as a company. And I know Eric will talk a little bit later, but Eric and our team and our legal team, we really worked to remove around 120 days so that we can have faster onboarding. The other thing you'll hear Rushi Patel talk about a little bit more is just the website. And we've spent considerable time on the website making it more intuitive. You know, you want to know what's the price I'm going to have? How fast can I ship? What will the transit times be? When can I start shipping? And we made that a lot more intuitive for you, the customers, and for the external stakeholders to get in and do a price search based on the commodity that you're moving. As you know, we have very strong, reliable service for the service that we've sold, and we have really good transit estimates that are in place that are real-time estimates that are real to the shipping patterns that we've had. So when you pull all that together, we look at that and think of that as a customer portal, which we'd expect you to look at as my portal. It's your personalized portal that you can see. The flip part to that is you can see that we'll have relevant information, key contacts. It'll be very personalized for you to see. I talked a little bit about the making sure that you have proactive communication. And I want to go to the next slide and talk about that a little bit more. So one of the ways we're doing that is through our API solutions. You know, you can see the number in the far left, number of customers. We have quite a few customers that have signed up. We've got a number that are active, the 100 active customers that are there. And we've got 65 APIs that are available with roughly 20 different functions. And I'll tell you that, as a Class 1 railroad, Union Pacific was one of the first to really adopt and lead the API solutions. What we really get, what customers really get, is just real-time feedback on how your shipment is doing, where it is, the car orders that are out there, so that you can make very informed decisions. On the container GPS, you can see that we have over 90%, close to 95% of them that are have and equipped with GPS. And it gives you the visibility that I started off the presentation with. It gives you real-time feedback on where that container is. It gives you an opportunity to make pragmatic decisions about your business. So, for example, you may be looking for a container that's empty. With GPS, real time that container is empty, and you can go out and call your dray to go pick up that container versus trying to wait around to find out when it will be there. The alerts and the notifications are there. That's what you should expect next. Again, real-time alerts like the one I just mentioned. And then outside of the container GPS is RailPulse. And this is great. This is exciting because it's a industry solution. You can see the number of the 1,500 cars that are equipped, on the UP today. But again, this is another example, another usage of GPS, of real-time tracking. The things I like about RailPulse is, location is one aspect of it, but the condition of the car. Is the hopper open? Is it closed? Is it bad order or not? What's the health of it? That's the vision of where we're headed. Where are the bearings and boosters of the air? How is that working out? This, of course, will help us with safety. It'll help reduce costs and also improve efficiency. So again, you can see where we're headed as a company, and we're excited about all the tech that we're invested in. Next, we have Rushi Patel, who's our Assistant Vice President of Commercial Technology.
Hey, Kenny, thank you. Hey, a couple of things Kenny mentioned. I want to walk you to two of those initiatives. First of those is we're really modernizing what I call the online showroom of Union Pacific, our website. So this website is more than a bold and modern look. We hope that it accomplishes three big things. One is to attract, second is to educate, and third is to assist our stakeholders, and specifically our customers, get the information they want faster, easier. And we're really doing that by focusing on simpler navigation, improved search, and curating the most relevant information needed for those particular stakeholders, as in you, the customer. The next thing I'm really excited, and I think this will be a big game changer for us, is for our current customers, I want to introduce the customer portal. I think Kenny mentioned it a little while ago as the new landing page for My UPRR. And again, a few things to really focus on and what our goals were with this. One is to deliver a simplified user experience. So is it a one-stop shop of the most relevant information for our customers, shipment, waybill, invoices, based on data and also feedback that we've received with our customers on what they need the most at their fingertips. The second big goal of this is really we want to, again, enhance visibility and control for our customers. So this landing page really provides better visibility into the exceptions or shipments that are not going according to plan, with guidance on what we're doing and any actions that need to be taken. So again, going back to what Kenny mentioned earlier, once you start shipping, you want real-time seamless visibility so you can effectively manage your own pipeline. And that is exactly what this portal's goal is to do. And we hope to continue that with further refinements as the year goes on. So again, this is something that we will launch late this summer. And with that, I want to hand it over to talk about some other technology, Pat Linden, who will be speaking to you about our intermodal side. Pat?
Thanks, Rushi. I'm excited to be here to share more with you about what UP is doing with technology across intermodal. We're expanding intermodal access with an acute focus on converting truck traffic to rail. And this helps us reduce congestion on the nation's highways and lower greenhouse gas emissions. And these efforts are largely aided by technology that we're deploying across our intermodal facilities. Technology developed by Union Pacific scans the driver's equipment and speeds up the gating process, allowing truckers to enter the ramp more quickly, which gives our ramp greater capacity and certainly more efficiency for our customers. Now, a crucial aspect of this experience initiatives is giving drivers an easy way to provide feedback. We take this feedback seriously, which is why UP Go was implemented. UP Go is a mobile app that all of our dray carriers and IMCs can use when entering our ramp. So one example I want to share with you is how we've used driver feedback at our Global 4 ramp in Chicago. We had some draymen express concerns about wait times when getting containers out of stack. And by utilizing our gate technology, we could see exactly how long a driver was at our ramp from entry to exit. And when we combined that data with BCO, we were able to zero in on the root causes for the extended waits. Based on that data, we worked with select BCOs on optimal times to pull containers so drivers could increase their efficiency. This end result was a shorter wait time at the ramp, increased turn times for the drayman, and an improved process for the BCO. Now, all of our drivers currently using the UP Go app and accessing the ramp have access to this technology and can take advantage of these features within the app. So moving on to the next slide, you heard both Kenny and I talk about how we're getting drivers and your shipments in and out of the ramps faster. This is made possible by technology called precision gating technology. We call it PGT. This works within our UP Go app to fast gate, which allows drivers to bypass the kiosk and upon entering our intermodal terminals. And while we use advanced machine vision, PGT will scan your equipment and automatically begin the in-gate process and match it to a UP Go event. So not only does this help when accessing our ramps, there's also a machine vision component where the tunnel that the drivers go through can identify, looks at the container, the chassis, and can identify potential issues. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our new intermodal terminal in Kansas City, KCIT, that's going to open here in July. This is the fourth new terminal that we've built in on our network in the past few years, underscoring our deep commitment to expanding intermodal access across our railroad. KCIT customers will benefit from all of the technology we've highlighted so far: Precision Gate, UP Go, and GPS. All of these things driving efficiencies at our ramp and a more positive driver experience. We'll share more transition details later this month, and you can also contact your premium team sales representatives with any questions. So that's it for me. Eric, can you tell us more about how we're enabling the operation through investments in technology?
Absolutely, Pat. Thank you very much. And hey, just as a friendly reminder, as Clarissa pointed out in the beginning, we really want to hear your questions. So we have a couple questions already posted in the chat. If you have any more, feel free to put them in there. We'll get to them in just a few moments. So here at Union Pacific, when we think about technology inside of operational excellence, which is the foundation of our strategy, you really want to make sure that you're talking about broadly all technology that we use, from the equipment that we use to AI that we use in our decision making. And I'm going to focus predominantly on those that are related to safety and service, because at the end of the day, those are the two most important things we do for our current customers and our prospective customers. So what we see here is two on the service side. On the left-hand slide, when we talk about planning and execution, this is really all about how we ensure that we maintain a consistent and reliable service. So in the one example, adaptive planning, what that really focuses on is making sure that our responsiveness to things that happen on the railroad is as prompt as possible. As many of you know, we have 32,000 miles of mainline track. We are an outdoor manufacturing facility. And as a result of our sheer scale, we have things that happen day in and day out. Adaptive planning takes the information from those events, feeds them into a centralized computer system that then, in a matter of minutes, calculates the optimum outcome or optimum response to that incident. So, for example, say we have some type of flooding event. This system allows us to reroute trains in the matter of minutes rather than what used to take us, sometimes up to days when we were working with Excel sheets. At the same time, as we think about Terminal Command Center, this is also about service. It's about giving, through technology, as much transparency as possible to our frontline leaders. So whether they're working through their daily activities to move cars into and out of their terminal, or they're responding to a customer's question, this gives them more transparency and more ability to double-click into their business and make the fastest decision that's best for our customers. At the same time, service is also about ensuring that we have the capacity on the railroad to meet our customers' demands of today and the growth of the future. The examples on the right-hand side highlight a couple of many that we have. In the picture on the left, you can see a gentleman who's holding a green box. That's what we call our, our mobile NX. What this allows us to do, and has allowed us to do in 25 of our terminals now, is to automate the switching of cars. I won't bore you with how we switch cars inside our terminals, because at the end of the day, what's most important is that this technology allows us to do it safer and faster. We'll focus on the faster side. It fundamentally removes hours of dwell that customers' cars spend in our terminals. And when you consider that the average manifest car touches 3 terminals, if you're able to eliminate 3 hours at the first terminal, 5 at the next, and 4 at the next, you've eliminated nearly a half a day of dwell. That's great for our customers. At the same time, what you see on the far right-hand picture is some technology in our engineering department. Technology for Union Pacific is not just about transportation, it's about all the different components that make up our service product, and engineering plays a big part of that. This is technology that fundamentally redefined how we distribute and install 4 million ties per year. The net outcome of it was we generated 50,000 hours. That's 50,000 hours of additional capacity to operate trains because we found a safer and more efficient way to unload 4 million ties on an annual basis. Technology in the area of service is so incredibly important to us. Now let's talk about safety on the next slide. When we think about technology, especially in the light of securing our customer shipments, right, you really break that down into people, into process, and technology. And while we could focus entirely on the technology, there's more than enough to talk about there. We want to make sure that we are talking about people and process first. From a people perspective, in the context of securing our freight, it's about working with our customers. It's also about working with those in the communities that we operate through. And there are 7,400 communities we operate through. So we have a tremendous number of really exceptional partners that work with us to ensure that collectively, not just Union Pacific, but the entire communities that we operate work to secure your freight. At the same time, we continue to make investments. You heard in the video earlier that on an average basis, we spend $10 million a day. Again, that's per day in investments across our railroad. A big part of that is in security. So since 2023, we've invested now nearly $40 million in what we call hardening our infrastructure, which is largely about the installation of walls, as well as using cutting-edge technology, which you see at the bottom right here on this slide, which really focus on helping our special agents and our partners in our communities, like our local police departments, to be able to have the most actionable information possible to make the quickest, most prompt response to any type of securement issue so that your freight gets from origin to destination without incident. And I'm going to turn it over to one of our experts in that area now, with Aaron Parsons, our special agent in charge.
Hey, thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. I'm very excited to be here. I want to take a deeper dive into what Eric spoke to. I would like to take a moment to recognize and share how the Union Pacific Police Department goes above and beyond in providing critical support to all of our customers, such as you out there. Our department is committed to protecting freight, infrastructure, and people every day across thousands of miles of rail. We leverage cutting-edge technology, intelligence-led policing, and strong partnerships to stay ahead of criminal activity to ensure the safe, secure transportation of our customers' goods. Whether it's through real-time surveillance systems, data analytics, license plate readers, drone operations, or agent rapid response teams, the Union Pacific Police Department stands at the front line of cargo protection. Our mission is simple: to safeguard our customers' assets and maintain trust in every shipment. We're proud of the work we do, and we remain committed to innovation and excellence in service. On the next slide, I'd like to discuss how the Union Pacific Police Department, we are a fully authorized law enforcement agency with commissioned police officers operating across all 23 states in which UP runs its rail network. These agents have full police authority, both on and off railroad property, and work seamlessly with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies to protect our employees, your cargo, and our assets. The Union Pacific Police Department is strategically deployed in major metropolitan areas and high-risk locations, such as intermodal terminals, rail yards, as well as in key rail corridors, particularly cities such as Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Memphis, and Kansas City. Union Pacific Police Special Agents are responsible for safeguarding the railroad's operations and assets. Our primary duties include preventing cargo theft by investigating and deterring criminal activity along our rail network, enforcing trespassing laws to ensure public safety as well as to protect our customers' cargo, protecting critical infrastructure, and responding to emergencies and rail incidents. Union Pacific Police utilize a combination of patrol operations, surveillance technology, and joint task force efforts to secure our railroad operations. We also work closely with third-party private security providers, as well as local communities, to enhance safety across our entire network. On the next slide, one of the clearest examples of how we have pivoted to the challenges is the formation of the Southern California Cargo Theft Task Force. I take pride in this one. This is an initiative that reflects a shift in how we protect our people, our assets, and our customer goods through coordination, innovation, and responsiveness. We began by increasing boots on the ground. We partnered with local police departments and surged agents from across the system into high-risk areas. This enhanced presence alone has helped deter criminal activity and improve response times. We did not stop there, though. Through the Joint Task Force, we are now coordinating directly with multiple law enforcement agencies in the region. We share intelligence, plan operations jointly, and act as a unified front against the threats to our rail network. We have also brought in armed as well as unarmed third-party security professionals to extend our reach, support fixed locations, and ensure around-the-clock vigilance. We have made significant investments in advanced technology to enhance our police operations. We deploy an ever-growing number of state-of-the-art portable surveillance cameras equipped with thermal imaging, as well as an entire fleet of drones to monitor high-risk areas, detect suspicious activity, and protect customer cargo in transit. These technologies provide real-time visibility and enable rapid response across our network. All of these camera feeds are monitored 24/7 by a centralized dispatch center. These dispatchers immediately alert us on the ground as Union Pacific Police Special Agents to any trespassers or suspicious behavior and ensure a swift and effective intervention. One of the most impactful actions we have taken is we actually escort inbound and outbound trains through the Los Angeles basin. These targeted escorts send a clear message. Our customers' cargo will move safely and securely, no exceptions. To touch base on our border operations, vehicle and cargo inspection machines are a critical tool used at all railroad border crossings to enhance security and streamline our inspections. These systems utilize imaging technology to scan rail cars as they pass through the port of entry, allowing our agents to quickly and safely identify hidden compartments, smuggled goods, or trespassers without even actually having to unload or open a rail car door. This technology plays a key role in supporting national security and efficient trade by balancing our enforcement with the need to keep our freight moving. It is especially valuable in high volume areas along the southern border where it helps detect and deter illegal activity. While these systems require an ongoing investment, which UP is invest in, their ability to improve inspection and accuracy and processing speed makes them an essential part of our rail border operations. Union Pacific's significant investment in physical security, which Eric spoke of momentarily, it's outstanding. I can name many examples such as fencing, reinforced gates, and security access points, which play a critical role in supporting the police department's efforts to protect customer cargo. Current barrier installation and construction projects include 10 feet tall concrete walls topped with razor wire currently being constructed on both sides of the track in high-risk areas, as well as solid steel barriers at intermodal ramps, which are designed to block access to container doors to keep a container door from opening once it is actually unloaded from a train at our intermodal ramps. These infrastructure enhancements deter unauthorized entry, slow intrusion attempts, and strengthen the overall security of our rail network. And perhaps most importantly, we are doing this in partnership with our customers, aligning our security goals, sharing real-time information, and solving problems together on the ground. For instance, an example I'd like to give, the Union Pacific Police recommendation that customers apply a figure-8 cable seal at the top of intermodal containers has significantly enhanced cargo security, reducing seal compromise incidents by as much as 75% through this simple yet very effective deterrent. This initiative not only has helped us mitigate risk and prevent losses, it has strengthened the relationships, built trust, and set a new standard for what coordinated security can look like. We, as the Union Pacific Police Department, believe in this model, combining law enforcement, private security, and customer collaboration. This model is scalable, and it can be adapted to other regions facing similar challenges, not just the Los Angeles basin area. And I'd be reminiscent on the next slide if I did not mention our Union Pacific's RMCC team. These are our critical call dispatchers, dedicated professionals. They serve as a 24/7 emergency helpline for any incidents occurring on Union Pacific's railroad property. Their established protocols enable fast, coordinated responses by connecting with trained dispatchers, Union Pacific Police Special Agents, and local emergency services to ensure help is dispatched without delay. And if you did not catch the number that's on this slide, do not worry. It's always available at the top of the up.com homepage for your review. With that, I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you for letting me speak to the police department for a moment, and I'll turn it back over to you, Kenny.
Okay, with that, I appreciate all the feedback and all the great works. I think we want to thank you all for participating. And at that time, I think, Clarissa, we want to go right into Q&A.
Yes, and this QR code on your screen tells you how to contact any member of our marketing and sales team. And you can also look at up.com to find them. So with that, we're just going to ask a quick poll, and then we're going to jump right into your questions. So thank you, everyone. And that was a lot of information. Before we jump into Q&A, please give us your feedback. Did you find the information we shared useful? Please react to the poll. Thank you. All right, great. It's great that 80% said yes. The 20% somewhat. We will unpack that a little bit later in other ways. We have one final poll before we say goodbye, which asks what you want to hear about. So hopefully we can get to that there. So first, let me ask the first question that came through. And Pat, this question is going to go to you. Is UP currently monitoring the dwell time for drivers at a terminal level by comparing in-gate to out-gate for individual trucks? It would be super helpful to give visibility to carriers and drivers in terms of what the average is for both single and dual mission events.
Okay, thank you, Clarissa. And Brandon, thanks for the question. First of all, we appreciate your business, and I'm happy to answer this question. So we can get really granular, Brandon, on this. We have it by terminal, we have it by day, we have it broken out into the amount of time it takes them. And I'll even say we have it broken down by mission. So if they're bobtailing in and taking a load out, we can see that. If they're coming in with a load and coming out with a load, we can see that. We measure each bucket of time that they're in the ramp. All of that data is available. And so we are happy to work with you guys specifically, with your providers, to help get just frankly real granular as to, if you have issues or you see opportunities, we'd love to work closely with you on that.
Thank you, Pat. We're going to do our best to answer this next question, but if we lost the context for your question, please give us more by reframing your question. But the question is, will the data be accessible via API or only via the UI? And this came right before Eric began speaking. So Rushi, I'm curious if you can take a stab at what that answer might be. And again, if you ask this question, please let us know how to target it.
Sure, Clarissa, and Pat, you can jump in too, because I think this came off your slide. But, I think we have today 103 customers that are using APIs. And really the goal of that is to bypass the UI methodology. So depending on the type of data you have, our technology teams are exploring even beyond API for those customers that have a more modern data platform. So I think it depends on the data you want, whether it's shipment, invoices, et cetera. We have an opportunity to do that. And I think the GPS specific question, Pat, I think you have a view on that.
Yeah. So I guess on the first question, it matters what data we're talking about and whether we house it with APIs. Intermodal specific data is also housed within Bloom, which is kind of the data clearinghouse for most railroads in the U.S. And that just helps us get a connected look for our network, since we know how connected the intermodal network is. So it really comes down to the specific source of data or specific type of data that you want, and then there's multiple avenues to get it. Clarissa, you want me to answer the container GPS question?
Sure. And yes, sure. And I'll state it out loud for those who might not have be reading the chat. For container GPS door-loaded sensors, my understanding is the only way to get to that is using the Bloom global hosted APIs. Unfortunately, Bloom redacts events, heartbeats that happen while the container is on the rail. They also redact on most cross-town events, leaving us with only street visibility via this path. Do you envision that we would need to use the Bloom APIs to get the street events and the UP APIs to get better location, ETA, and real-time tracking data? We have seen that the ETAs we get via EDI are not great, and there's a lot of latency and inconsistency in the data we get. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah, so another one of my great customers asking this question. So Bill, thank you for the question. Your assessment is accurate in the sense that there are certain events that we do redact from a GPS data standpoint while it's on train. That is accurate. In terms of ETAs and the EDI information, our data that we house within our website takes into account multiple variables, whereas a ping from a GPS sensor is just one data point. So we're really trying to get to one single source of truth. I understand the concern, and frankly, something I've spoken with directly with you guys on, and we're always open to feedback as it relates to how do we utilize this data better. to give all of our customers a better experience. So very much open to continuing that conversation as well.
Thank you, Pat. This next question is for Eric. What is the timeliness of updates to trip plans that customers can view when adjustments and key events are made or completed? For example, when a train is canceled, called late, run through a yard, out of plan, no crew, power assigned, etc.
That's a great question. So the timeliness is quite prompt. I want to be clear. We always are looking for opportunities to further improve that. And the reason I say that is it depends on what scenario we're in. So we've listed a few here in the question. So let's walk through a couple of those. So in the event that a train were to be departed late, well, as that train departs the physical terminal that it's originating from, it picks up in our technology systems the fact that it just departed, and it adjusts its estimated arrival time based on that. The ones that take us slightly longer are when we've had some type of variability event. So I used, for example, a flood earlier. You could imagine, all of you have been customers for a while, that not every storm is created equal, and many times we're taking proactive steps with how we handle cars even before a storm. So if we were to be impacted by a significant hurricane, for example, right, we start by looking at the cars that are in that vicinity and how do we remove them to get them out of the path of the storm. Once the storm has actually hit, then we look to how do we reroute every single car. And as we do that, we update their estimated time of arrivals based on that. So you're really talking about minutes in most cases, and sometimes it takes us just a little bit longer.
Thank you, Eric. This next question is, how is UP working with railcar builders to make intermodal cars theft resistant? Anyone want to take that one?
I'll take that one.
Thank you.
Specific to rail car manufacturers, we don't have a lot of actions up against how do we make intermodal cars have better theft prevention. And the reality is because, like many cars on the railroad, you have lots of different models. Some cars are owned by customers, some are owned by the railroad, some are owned by leasing companies. And so while I want to stress that I would love to have a technology solution that we could just snap our fingers and put on all intermodal cars and the associated boxes, that's going to take us longer than our customers have told us they are allowing us to take. So that's why you heard Aaron and me discuss many different actions that we're taking around the car, around the boxes, securing them in our terminals, both for intermodal and autos, for example, making sure that people can't come into the terminal unexpectedly or take the wrong box. It's why you also heard Aaron talk about the fact that we have in the LA Basin trains that are actually followed by special agents. Some are our own, some contractors, to ensure that they get from origin to destination without incident. So there's no lack of investment, including the $40 million of investment we made in the infrastructure. We, at the end of the day, have to focus on how do we protect what we can control? And what we can control is what's on our railroad. Once again, if there became a solution available where we could apply it to every rail car in every box, we would be more than open. But in the meantime, we're going to make sure we're protecting your freight with the things that we have control over.
Thank you, Eric.
And
I think
I'd be
oh, sorry, go ahead, Kenny.
Marissa, I'd be remiss if I didn't add on that to what Eric. There has been great collaboration with Eric's team, with Aaron's team, with some customers that have put GPS devices on their containers that give us real-time feedback, gives Aaron's police force real-time feedback to go out there, check the containers, and deter the theft from taking place.
Thank you for that, Kenny. This next question is about the alternatives to diesel electric locomotive systems. So what alternatives to diesel electric locos have been the most successful for UP? Battery electric, all electric, hydrogen?
So at Union Pacific, we've been investigating, researching, and investing in a wide variety of different locomotive technologies. As you first look at what we've said publicly, a better part of a year and a half ago, we've made agreements with the locomotive supplier to procure battery electric locomotives. Now, to my knowledge, there's only a handful of those in the entire world. The way that we're thinking about their use initially is inside of our terminals. So we'll be taking these battery electric locomotives, which we will get next year, and be able to put them on in our LA basin as well as in North Platte, Nebraska, to be able to test them, understand how they best work, and then how to best utilize them. So we're excited about that. The one we're equally excited about is our hybrid. Now we've signed contracts to be able to procure 5 of those as well. The hopes that we procure more than that, but initially it's 5 to understand the ability of that technology. We've already taken ownership of the first one as of 4.5 months ago, and it's under rigorous testing right now down in our North Little Rock terminal and the associated area around it. So we believe both have a place on the Union Pacific. And for the things that we haven't directly invested in, for example, with hydrogen, we're keeping a close eye on that. And we have strong partnerships with our other railroads as they investigate further the use of things like hydrogen. We'll be paying particularly close attention to that. And if it works for our customers and it works for the Union Pacific, that'd be an investment I'd be happy to make.
Thank you. This next question is about communications. Has UP improved communication with ocean lines regarding inbound containers? Kenny?
Sure, I'll start. And Pat, if you want to join in, we get today, and I think most people know, we get visibility to the freight that's coming to us. We don't get it cleanly. It's not via API. It's not clearly aggregated. And so what Jim was saying is that, yes, in that sense, we need to do a better job there. Even at the port, it is somewhat of a disaggregated data that we receive. We've been working with the ports. We know that the ports, both, for example, Port of Long Beach, Port of LA, they have gone through what I'll call quite a bit of technology improvements that they've made to get clearer visibility to the rail lines. So that's encouraging for us. The data is there, the technology is there. It's getting that all synced up, which is what we've been working with Rushi and his team and our own commercial team. So improvements we think are near, but we're not there yet.
Thank you. This next one again, it's a Kenny and Pat one. How can UP improve the communication with customers on the last mile? Delays and missed switches need more real-time updates so shippers can pivot better.
So I'll start. I think this is a carload question. We certainly have technology out there that we've been utilizing now for a couple years called, Your Next. And it basically is the data that shows, hey, we're coming to your facility next. We just left another customer. And or we have the technology that communicates whether or not we are going to serve you that day. So whether it's proactively trying to get better accuracy or whether there's a situation that has jumped up, an exception, we have the technology. We are using that today. And we do take customer feedback when we hear that it's not perfect so that we can refine it. So for that last mile, that's the technology that we've used and we're implementing with our customers today.
Thank you. This question is for Aaron. Aaron, how much do you interact with local law enforcement in cases where organized crime is involved?
Oh, that's a great question. I would love to touch base on that one every single day of the week. Right now, just currently today, I spoke with one of my task force officers in Los Angeles this morning, who is assigned with the LAPD Commercial Crimes Bureau. So we have officers that are actually embedded and permanently assigned as task force officers with multiple agencies throughout the United States, particularly our areas where we have our higher incidence of crime occurring. I won't go into depth on a specific investigation, but I will speak to one that we conducted earlier this year in the Memphis, Tennessee, Marion, Arkansas area, where while the Union Pacific Police Department conducted a year-long investigation into this organized group for the theft that was occurring, we can't do everything alone at the end of the day. This was an organized group that operated across 3 states. So what we did was completed our investigation, completed our search warrants, completed our arrest warrants. We gathered all of those agencies in those 3 states, and we created a 60-man task force that went out and executed these arrest warrants, search warrants, as a culmination of this Union Pacific Police Department investigation. So every single day of the week, we have to utilize those, especially when it comes to organized crime in different regions and areas.
Thank you, Aaron. This next question is for Rushi. How are UP's digital twins evolving beyond tracking to predictive asset health for customer-owned rail cars?
Yeah, digital twin from a technology standpoint is a buzzword, right? It's digitizing your supply chain end to end. And, at Union Pacific for many years now, we have evolved that. We have the most advanced operational technology platform in the industry. And while we don't call it digital twin outwardly, we do a lot of things that make up digital twins. You heard Eric talk about terminal command. Eric has previously publicly talked about how we use our simulation to build better trains, to build safer trains. So while we have various components of what you would come together as a digital twin, we don't speak to it in that manner. So we have initiatives that we're working on, that we're piloting, that use advanced technologies, AI, data, predictive operations, as well as simulation and other items that come together to produce that kind of digital twin, or what academically is called a digital twin. So we are on that path. We have a lot of things in the pipeline that will improve. And it's something that we're actively working on all facets. Eric, I don't know if you wanted to add anything else.
And Eric, as you jump in, one aspect of that question was specific to customer-owned rail cars.
I think Rushi covered it exactly right. Honestly, I don't have anything else to add on top of that.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to ask a question out of sequence just because it's related to what we were just talking about with security. And so, Aaron, back to you for a second. Has Union Pacific noticed a decrease in thefts due to applying a figure 8 seal at the top of containers? And why is UP not taking this as a task to apply these seals on top of all units on well cars rather than asking customers to apply the seal? So this is, several people may weigh in here. Aaron, you might want to kick this off, and then Eric, maybe you'll take a piece of that as well. The figure 8 on top of seals. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would love to. And yet, I'd love for anybody to chime in. Logistically, I mean, as everybody knows, a lot of our shipments, or a majority of our shipments that are targeted in specific areas, they come in via steamship. So by the time Union Pacific receives these containers, they are already loaded onto rail cars off of the steamship. We receive them. They're already on there as a top load at that specific time. At that point, logistically, getting a figure 8 that's already on a top load, that's the point of the figure 8 seals, is you cannot reach the top load without, having a very specific ladder and being able to climb up there. So it's just logistically having it put on at point of origin before any of that occurs. It not only does it prevent the individuals from burglarizing our containers, it also limits and prevents us from getting up there and placing the seals.
Excellent. I think you've answered it fully. Rushi, another question for you about the new customer portal. Will the new customer portal identify shipments that will be delayed due to an exception that occurred on a different train? For example, if there was a derailment on train A and train B will be delayed by X. Additionally, can you speak to what steps you're taking to improve ETG accuracy?
So, like I said, we are using data to look at what's most important to us. So let's talk about this. I talked about this will continue to be enhanced. So at rollout late this summer, we're looking at the top 30 exceptions that causes the most heartburn for our customers. So we're working through those exceptions. I don't have that answer on that particular one, but the CCNS team, the customer team, are looking at what those key exceptions are, and which will be visible to our customers at rollout. Now, as we improve, I believe, yes, that most of the exceptions will be part of this, but we believe in speed on getting it out and making sure that we address the largest percentage of the problems, and that's what we'll be doing in July.
Thank you.
I can answer a part of this. Some of this is obviously ETGs are related to intermodal, and I guess internally we have proprietary systems that we use ourselves to kind of tie the data together. And we have forecasting models that help us provide real-time updates on ETG. We're constantly looking at ways to refine that because we know ETGs are really, really important. The best resolution that we can provide for ETG accuracy is just on-time performance in the service of our trains. And I can tell you our trains are running as well as they've run in my 18 years, and it is exciting to be able to see the customers responding to that and providing us with more opportunities to move their freight. So we know that ETGs are really important. We're always focused on it and wanted to make sure that those are accurate beyond kind of that 24-hour mark so that you can most effectively plan your network.
Thank you. We have time to take the last two questions that were asked, but I'm sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Well, let me just add one more thing to it because all these questions have been great, and that's a particularly good one. You know, in the context of this whole conversation, that's also where we want to see AI play an even bigger role. I mean, when you think about like this morning, there's 160,000 rail cars out there. There's 550 trains out there that are just freight trains. There's another 700 that are passenger trains in the different communities we operate in. I mean, you got 4,000 locomotives out there. We aren't there yet where we need to be, but that is our vision. That is our goal, is to get to a place where when something happens, kind of the old butterfly effect, when something happens 1,000 miles away, that our systems will be smart enough to be instructive to say, okay, well, 1,000 miles away, you're going to want to do this or that. Again, we're not there yet across the board, but I am extremely optimistic that we're going to get there, and our customers are demanding us to get there, and that's why we will get there.
Excellent. We're excited. The questions have run right up to the end, so we're going to run this poll asking what you want to hear about for future webinars while we answer the last two questions. So little ambidexterity required here, but if you can let us know what other topics you'd like to hear from: public safety, hurricanes, shipping by carbon by rail, railroads, and private-public partnerships, please let us know. And this next question: can you provide some additional information about the newly announced high-value product program? Will there be a minimum cargo value to participate, or can any customer pay the $100 surcharge to have their cargo secured? Also, is it guaranteed that customers paying that surcharge will have their containers loaded in the bottom of the well car? Kenny and Pat?
Pat, you want to take that one?
Yep, I'm happy to take it. Drew, thank you for the question. So first of all, I guess the best way that I would answer that is there's not necessarily a cargo minimum, but I think the standard would say that anything that is over the $100,000, because that is our standard limit for claims liability. And in terms of the guarantee of the bottom well, there's no guarantee of the bottom well. It does guarantee you the $250,000 in liability coverage. And then, as I think you know, there are some nuances in terms of how we load plan the trains that lightweight container, that consider the weight of a container, how many containers we have to load. Our intent is to bottom load, period, end of story. But if there is something that gets in the way of that, that is critical for us operating a safe railroad, then we have to make a consideration on that.
Thank you, Pat. And last question, but certainly not least: what predictive analytics are available for route optimization and modal shift decisions? Eric?
I'll take the route optimization. So we're living through one right now with the changes in tariffs by the administration. We've had to make a number of different adjustments to our resource base, to our transportation plan, to our locomotive plan, et cetera, as a result of a reduced international intermodal volume, followed by what everybody can read in the press, which is a coming increase relative to the bottom of the trough. So we use many of the tools that I mentioned and others have mentioned, like adaptive planning. We are using them right now to be able to make sure that we've got, based on information that's coming into us, the available number of locomotives, rail cars, crews, transportation plan, capacity, to be able to run that volume across the United States. So we use it every single day, and it's also systems that we continue to invest in because we want them to continue to evolve to be even better, to provide an even better level of service to our customers.
Thank you so much, Eric. We are actually at the top of the hour. And thank you for your responses for future webinars. Public safety and hurricane preparedness are in the hopper, so you'll definitely be able to hear about those topics. Thank you to all our presenters. Following this call, we'll share a link with the recording, and feel free to share it with others in your organization. If you have any questions we didn't ask, please reach out to your marketing and sales representative. Thank you all so much and have a great day.